Hi, my name is Aya. You're watching Aya Reads, and I'm here to do my review for Beautiful Venom by Rina Kent. So this is the first book in her new dark hockey romance series. And I got it a little bit earlier in the mail, so I am over the moon excited about it. As always with my videos, it's gonna be mostly non-spoilery, but since I don't want this video to only be like 5 minutes, I will go into some plot points, so it will be, like, if there are spoilers, they will be mild, but I will not spoil major plot points at all. If I do want to spoil major plot points, there will be a spoiler section, although I'm not sure if I'm gonna have one for this book yet. Also, I will be doing a tier ranking for all of Rina Kent's books towards the very end, so there will be timestamps in the description, so feel free to skip around. If you want to know more of my thoughts on the Rina Kent books I've read, I have a Rina Kent playlist where I review all the books I have read, which, for your information, I've read the entire Legacy of Gods. I've of course read Beautiful Venom now, and I've read Kiss the Villain. So check that playlist out if you want to know my thoughts on the other books I've read. Oh my god, I'm so excited. Look what just showed up. Oh my god. So I ordered this a couple weeks ago, thinking it was just going to show up on day of release. But I know the website I order from, sometimes they will have the books earlier and will send out the books earlier, but usually I have to order it when it says on the website, you know, order it now to get it tomorrow. And this one, I saw that when I looked for it on the website, it said order it now to get it tomorrow. And then I looked in my email and it was already sent out, and it's here. Look how beautiful. So I got the like deluxe edition, but it does have this art. I'm so excited because the reason I'm so excited is because today is Friday the 23rd, and this one is supposed to come out on the 27th. So I got it 4 days earlier. Can I do math? Yeah, 4 days earlier. And it actually comes at the perfect time because I just finished Rewind It Back by Liz Tomforde, and I was really thinking, okay, so I need a very good book to follow that. So I'm glad this one showed up so I can start it today. And what's even better is tomorrow I have a hair appointment to get like a keratin treatment, and that usually takes at least 7 hours. So I know I will finish this tomorrow, which means I can upload it on Sunday. And I'm very excited about that. It's floppy, which I love, and I'm just so excited about it, really. So right now I'm not gonna tell you anything about it yet. I'm gonna read the first 100 or 150 pages, and then I'll give you the synopsis and my thoughts for it. So excited, yes! Okay, I am on page 101 of Beautiful Venom, and I'm kind of tired. I need to take a shower. So this update will be pretty quick. I don't have a whole lot of thoughts, so I'll just give you the synopsis. So this book, you follow Dahlia Thorne, and she has been in foster care ever since her parents died in a car accident, which she blames herself for. She had the worst experiences during the time she was in foster care, until her foster sister Violet saves her from like one of the awful foster parents they have. And ever since then, it's just been the two of them, and they have just had each other's backs. And especially Dahlia feels like Violet really is like the person who really took care of her. But then somebody attacked Violet, and because of that, she has been in a coma ever since. Now Dahlia has reason to think that somebody from this prestigious secret society called Vencor had something to do with it. So she wants to infiltrate Vencor to find out what happened to her sister, and she wants to basically avenge her sister. Now comes in Kane Davenport, who is one of the founding families of Vencor. Basically, Vencor, like I said, Vencor is this secret society, like secret organization, which has 4 founding families: the Davenports, the Callahans, the Armstrongs, and the Osborns. The university both Dahlia and Kane are in is called Greystone University, which is set in Greystone Ridge. And on top of the hill in Greystone Ridge is what is called Ravenswood Hill, and it's where all these founding families live. And Kane Davenport, since he is a legacy, is also a senior member in Vencor. Basically, there's like 4 types of members you have. You have trial, member, senior, and founder. When Kane finds Dahlia listening in on a conversation between him and his 2 friends, he calls her out on hiding, and then he asks her if she wants to go to the initiation for Vencor, and she agrees. And there are 2 trials that she has to go through, both of them horrible in different ways. One of them definitely sexual in nature, definitely non-con. So this is a dark hockey romance, so keep that in mind. The non-consensual scene basically was between her and Kane, and that was part of the initiation. Although I do have to say, before going to the initiation, Kane told her that she has a safe word, which is red. Okay. And she could use that safe word to get out of the initiation at any time, and she never used that safe word. So, you know, to me then it feels more like consensual non-consent in a way. Although, on the other hand, does she really have a choice? Because her one and only family member that she has left, she wants to find answers for Violet. So I don't feel like she actually has a choice, since she feels like this is what she has to do. Like I said, it's a dark hockey romance. So far, we've seen a little bit of hockey. And so far, these characters are just like a lot of Rina Kent characters I've read about. Although I have to say, Dahlia is not a virgin, and Kane actually tells her that he has no interest in fucking virgins. So in that case, it is a bit different from The Legacy of Gods. But so far, the 3 guys from Vencor, like Kane and his 2 friends, definitely remind me a lot of characters we've already read about in Legacy of Gods. So far, I am enjoying it. Bits and pieces of this book already remind me of Enigma by RuNyx, and so far I am enjoying this way more than that book. And so I would say if you really loved Enigma, then I would recommend this one, because I think this is better. I really love Rina's writing style. Like, I fly through her books and I'm just intrigued. Like, there's this mystery, obviously, and I want to know what's up with that. Some things in here are a bit annoying, because I feel like Rina spends a bit too much time on TikTok, because I don't know, the phrases these characters use, I get it, there are college students, so it would make sense. But then on the other hand, I feel like it ages the book, because I don't think those phrases will be used in like 5 years' time. I don't really have specific... Oh yeah, one of the things Kane says is like, it's giving whatever energy, something like that. For like phrasing that is used nowadays, but I don't think it's gonna be used 5 years in the future, you know what I mean? So I just tend to not really... That's also one of the reasons why I really don't love pop culture references in my books, and also that's why I don't really love current day slang being used, because I feel like it just, like I said, it ages the book. So far, I am intrigued with the plot. I am intrigued with the romance that's developing, and I'm also like, I like both characters so far. Like, I enjoy Dahlia as a character. I feel like she's very loyal. I feel like she seems pretty smart, and I do enjoy Kane. Like, he feels a bit different to me, even though I just compared him to the other heroes in Legacy of Gods. I feel like he feels a bit different from the other ones. I feel like the other 2, like his 2 friends, really, like one of them reminds me of Nico, and the other one kind of reminds me of, I don't know, maybe Landon, I guess, maybe even Killian. So, but Kane feels a bit different. Also, I remember the term Vencor, and that organization was mentioned in Kiss the Villain. So if you've read that book, then that will be familiar. Not to spoil that book, but there is a link between this book and that one. But yeah, like I said, I don't really have a lot. Like I told you guys, this was going to be quick, and still I'm rambling. I am enjoying it. Oh yeah, and there's this mystery. Something happened to Kane in his youth. It says here, there was a time when I liked beautiful things. Now I want them all ruined, trampled upon, reduced to dust. So it seems like he also is like a neurodivergent hero, like seems like sociopath, something like that. But it does seem like it stemmed from trauma, and from my experience with Rina's books in the Legacy of Gods, I do prefer the heroes, and that's weird to say, but I just like the complexity of somebody changing due to trauma, and I feel like that's going to be the case in this one. So it seems like something happened when he and his two friends were in boarding school. I don't know what that is, but we'll see. So like I said, so far I'm intrigued. I have a lot of questions that I hopefully will get answered, and I'm liking the characters, and I'm interested to see where the romance develops. So far we have had, like in the first 60 pages, there has been sex between these two, so there's that. But like I said, hopefully it's clear that this is a very dark romance, not for the faint of heart at all. But I'm enjoying it, and tomorrow I'll probably finish it. And I'm very excited to keep reading. And I guess I'll give you my update. Preferably I would have given you my update halfway through, but since I'm gonna be getting my hair done for 7 hours straight, I don't think that's possible. So probably I'll update you once I finish. So talk to you then. All right, I finished Beautiful Venom, and I'm gonna give it 5 stars. I really, really loved it. It is one of my favorite Rina Kent books I've read. I was thoroughly impressed with this book. Before I get started though, I do have to say that if you've not read Kiss the Villain yet and you're wondering which one of these you should start first, then I would say read Kiss the Villain first, because this book actually spoils a mystery major plot point in Kiss the Villain. It will not spoil the entire book for you at all, but there is something going on that is a mystery for like half of this book, where you don't know something about a particular character, and this book does spoil that, which is kind of annoying considering this book, I don't know if you can get it anymore, but it's gonna come out again in August since it's picked up by a traditional publisher now, so that's kind of annoying. But if you don't care about spoiling this one, then you can for sure read this book without having read any of Rina Kent's books. And even if you read this book and read this one after that, like I said, this will not spoil the entire book. So let's continue now, having discussed that. I did want to talk about some plot thing first before getting into my full thoughts. So this basically, I told you guys that this town is run by these 4 major players. So the Davenports, the Armstrongs, the Callahans, and the Osborns. So basically the Davenports, which of course this follows Kane Davenport, they run the major trade business, so import and exports. The Armstrongs are in charge of energy production, so both oil and also alternative energy sources. Then there are the Callahans, who own the largest pharmaceutical company in the US, plus other medical complexes such as the hospital in this town. And finally, there are the Osborns, who control all the major real estate, construction, and urban development. So they definitely have their hands in almost every major industry in the US. And they kind of need each other because they are holding a monopoly on their own industry while also benefiting each other. So I do feel like she set that up perfectly. Like, it's very clear that these are very powerful players and that they control a lot of things. So I did enjoy that. I feel like it was very much thought out, this book, and I did enjoy that. I have to say I really enjoyed Kane as a hero. I think he is a complicated hero with a very complicated, heartbreaking past. But the way he is explained in this book, and it makes sense. You know, his dad is a abusive motherfucker, and I hate him, and he deserves the death chair. But there's also like a complicated relationship between Kane and his mother that I was also very intrigued by. His mother has clinical depression, which very much hits home for me because a person very close and very dear to me also is clinically depressed. So I always tend to root for those characters. So I genuinely felt sorry for both of them. And it was interesting to read this book after reading The Legacy of Gods, considering Legacy of Gods are next gen series. So basically all the parents were people we were rooting for, and they were not bad people. And now to finally read Rina Kent where that isn't the case, it was interesting seeing the character's dynamic with his parents, considering those aren't people that we know and love. You know, and I thought he worked very well as a hero. I loved how deliciously possessive he was, the amount of times he used mine in this book. I, of course, loved, as you guys know if you've followed my channel for a while now. He's a touch her and I'll kill you type of hero, a who did this to you hero. So I was very impressed with him. In the beginning, I wasn't so sure about him, but I feel like she did a very good job with his character, and I enjoyed every single second of him. Also, the sex scenes in this book were amazing. I talked a little bit about the initiation scene in the beginning, and that was like, the more I think about it, the more disturbing hot that scene was. Like, I just loved it. There's primal play in here, which she tends to do in her books, but every time there is another scene, I just go feral for it. I really love it. There's praise in here, and, you know, a lot of other things that I really enjoy. So if you have read Legacy of Gods and you loved all those sex scenes in here, then you're definitely gonna love them in here too. Also, loved his nickname for her. He calls her Wildflower, which, let me actually read you something where he explains it. So he's like, but you don't do well with warnings, do you? You're a little rebellious wildflower that thinks it can survive anywhere. But guess what? I'm your winter dahlia. No flower can survive winter, not even wildflowers. So I love that. And I do like the fact that it's a tie to her name, because obviously dahlia is a flower. And I'm just looked it up, and it actually says that yes, dahlias can be considered wildflowers. So I didn't even realize that, and I already love that. And I did really enjoy Dahlia as a character. I think she was a very well-rounded character. She was a very strong heroine. I loved how resilient she was, so Wildflower is definitely an apt nickname for her. I also love how she always gave people the benefit of the doubt. Not just Kane, but also other people other characters, but also the readers might feel iffy about. She always tried to see the good in people, and I enjoyed that. And like I said, I love how strong and resilient she was, but I also loved how well she stood up for herself, and not just towards other characters, because there were definitely some like characters in here that we didn't root for, but I also, what is this hair doing? Can you leave? Thank you. I also love the fact that she stood her own against Kane, who is a force to be reckoned with, but she was not deterred. Like, there was a scene in here, which it's not a major spoiler because it's a romance book, these things tend to happen, where he tries to push her away and she's like, bet. And the way she methodically made him regret his actions was mesmerizing, was commendable, and I was just standing on the sidelines cheering her on. I thoroughly enjoyed that scene, and I just loved her. Like I said, Kane is a very, like I just explained it. He is part of this massive, big, powerful family, and she technically is a nobody, which has been, it was very clear in the text. Yet I love how as a personality, she was very strong, and she was definitely well suited for him, and I just enjoyed both of them. I enjoyed their dynamic together. I loved their romance, and I loved both characters. I also definitely enjoyed the side characters. I loved his mom. Like I said, it was a very complicated woman who's also very traumatized, yet I was very intrigued by her. I was rooting for her, and I really loved I loved Dahlia's relationship with her sister. That was very interesting to me, and I wanted to, like, anytime there was like a little bit of a flashback scene of them together, I was rooting for both of them. But most especially, I really loved the dynamic between Kane and Jude and Preston. I am very intrigued. All three of them have an interesting background. I love how he called them family. Like, they are definitely Kane's family. So the next two books are gonna follow Jude. So the second book is going to follow Jude and another character, and the third book is going to follow Preston and another character. And she set those romances up so well. I'm very excited about the second and third book. And as much as I love this book, I do have a feeling that the second and third book I'm going to love a little bit more than this one. So I'm very excited about the second and third book in this series. So I don't know if I said this in my first update, but this did remind me a little bit of Enigma, but I do feel like this one was done so much better. But I do feel like if you have read Enigma and loved it, and I think I already talked about this, if you read Enigma and loved it, I think you're definitely gonna love this one. And if you, like me, read Enigma and was a bit disappointed by it, I would still highly recommend this one because I feel like this is done much better. It's a similar thing in that there's this town with this university attached to it with a lot of secrets and power players, a secret society, and a girl who's looking for answers as to what happened to her sister. I feel like it's very similar to that, but I just enjoyed the plot better in this book. I enjoyed the characters better in this book, and I definitely enjoyed the romance better in this book. So all in all, I was highly impressed with this book. I would definitely recommend it to you. If you've not read any Rina Kent, I think you can definitely start with this one, especially if you love hockey romance. I do feel like this, so I was debating, am I gonna classify this more as a hockey romance or as a dark romance? It does feel a little bit more dark romance. Yes, there's hockey in here. Yes, that we do see the games, and he is definitely a good hockey player. But even for him, hockey is not gonna be like his future. So then in that case, it felt a little bit more, I feel like the dark romance overtakes the sports in here, but that's fine to me. It makes sense, but I did enjoy it. And like I said, you can definitely start with this one. Although, once again, don't start with this one if you have every intention to read this one. Then I would say just read this one first and then get to this one. Now for the tier ranking. So I have read 8 Rina Kent books so far, and this is a bit tentative because usually when I read books, sometimes I change my mind a little bit if some time passes. So this is basically my tier ranking right after finishing Beautiful Venom, but there can be some slight changes in the future, but just watch this space and see if things change, I guess. My least favorite Rina Kent book I've read so far is Kiss the Villain, which like I said, I reviewed every single book. So you'll see, I'll have everything linked for you. So check a video out if you're interested in more of my thoughts. So Kiss the Villain, I gave 3 stars. So it's in number 8th position. Number 7 for me is, I have the older male cover. So God of Ruin. And I gave this book 3.5 stars. So it's in number 7th place. Number 6th spot goes to God of Pain, which I gave 4 stars. So this is in 6th spot. Number 5 position is God of War, which I gave 4.5 stars. And now the other ones, the rest, like the next 4 books are all 5 stars. So in number 4th place, which I gave 5 stars, is God of Malice. Then I think, right now at least, I think Beautiful Venom is in 3rd position. 2nd position is God of Wrath. And I do feel like God of Wrath and Beautiful Venom, maybe I can see a scenario in which these 2 will be switched up. But for now, I don't know. There was just something special about God of War for me. And I do think what I alluded to before is that I have a feeling the 2nd and 3rd book in the Viper series, I'm gonna love a little bit more than Beautiful Venom. So in that case, I don't know if I can put it in 2nd place. But like I said, time will tell if this order will change. And then for now, I think like a lot of other people, my favorite Rina Kent book is God of Fury, which of course I gave 5 stars and it's in 1st position. So this is my tier ranking for Rina Kent books. Let me actually give you my average rating. I need to calculate that first, so give me a second to do so. So my average rating is a 4.4, which is very high. I do enjoy Rina Kent's writing style, so I'm just having the best time reading her books. So the plan actually is to continue reading her books and vlogging it. So I think I'm just gonna start with her reading order. So start with her first published series after this one, of course. So I'm gonna go back and start with her first published series. For now, I know this video is going up earlier than the book is actually out. I would really love to know what is your favorite Rina Kent book. And I would also really love to know which book you love that I have not read yet, so maybe I can prioritize that. And if you're watching this video a little bit later and you have read Beautiful Venom, let me grab it again. I would really love to know all your thoughts on Beautiful Venom. Did you love it as much as I did? And if you didn't love it as much as I did, let me know why, and we'll discuss in the comments below. If you're down there and you don't want to say anything, but you do want to say that you were here, leave me a snake emoji for, of course, the Vipers. And I really hope you enjoyed this video. Definitely let me know by leaving a like if you did. And thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.